Hello everyone, and welcome to today's Business Mastery Series webinar. They are usually brought to you twice a month by the wonderful people at DirectPay. My name is Carol Vickers, and together with Liz Christofferson, we at Empower Consulting Group have had the privilege of hosting these webinars this past couple of years. It has been an honor and a delight to meet the amazing presenters and to participate in some lively discussion, but also some great learning. Can't tell you how many pages of notes that I have been able to take over the last couple of years from all the different wonderful presenters that we've had here. DirectPay is committed to the success of small business entrepreneurs like yourselves. Through their great customer service team, you can learn more about how to increase your business's growth and sales. You can always contact them directly through www.directpayinc.com, that's directpayinc.com, and speak to a real person about your business and your business's needs. Remember that they provide not only just credit card acceptance and online shopping carts, but mobile payments too. They've really moved into the mobile world and have provided services that will allow you to just extend your services beyond your computer and beyond right out there whenever you are speaking to your clients. DirectPay's Business Mastery Series is designed to provide learning and education for business development for your organization. And I hope you've taken advantage of some of the webinars in the first half of this year. You can always return to review the information by registering to watch one of the recordings. Today, we have another opportunity to get guidance for your business from one of the best. Robert Skrob has more than 20 years of experience in the association industry, helping associations grow their membership through better benefits, communication, and systems. Under his leadership, several associations have grown to represent over 90% of the potential members within their industry. That's a startling statistic. That is really, really great. Throughout his career, Robert has worked with hundreds of companies to market and promote their products and services to the members of these associations. Robert is the owner of Membership Services, Inc., an association management company headquartered in Tallahassee, Florida, specializing in membership marketing, recruitment, and retention. Although he hasn't practiced public accounting since 1995, he maintains his CPA license and fulfills his continuing education requirements to please his mom, who wants him to keep his license so he has something to fall back on if this marketing thing doesn't work out. I love that. Robert has been married to his wife, Corey, since 1994, and they have two children, a daughter, Samantha, and a son, Robert. Robert Sr., who we will have the pleasure of speaking with today, enjoys running and smoking Partaga's No. 10 cigars, although he says rarely at the same time, which is good news, Robert.
Yeah, that's right. I try to avoid it at the same time, although I probably would if I could. But there's one thing that's a glaring omission in my biography, and that's that I've been a DirectPay client now for 8 years, and recommend DirectPay everywhere I can, and have DirectPay. I've had them at my meetings to make sure my members know about them, and have always been just completely satisfied. And even, in fact, I've had friends of mine who've had kind of merchant service catastrophes because they've been working with some other provider, and been able to get them fixed up with DirectPay, and that took care of the problem forever.
Excellent.
So I'm happy to give back to the DirectPay community, and really appreciate those folks. They do a great job, and really proud to be able to work with them.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I will just let the audience know that I will be managing the details for our webinar, and I just hear was a question from Dolly about not being able to hear us. Dolly, I'm just wondering if you have your speakers turned on, or perhaps you would prefer to call in, because that's another thing. Oh. Another gentleman says he can hear fine. So Dolly, maybe you need to call into the telephone line. That might be the way to do it, because it sounds like everything is working well for everyone else. Good to hear. Okay. Also, I just want to let everyone know that we will be taking questions throughout this wonderful webinar. And if you have a question, type it into the question box, and I will manage details and make sure that Robert has a chance to answer everyone's questions and carry on. So Robert, this is you have brought something to my attention that I wasn't really aware of. So tell me about what are the associations and what is association marketing?
Okay. Associations are really just groups of people with a like interest. A lot of us belong to an association really for our own profession, and from time to time we will become aware of an association that might represent our customers. A lot of folks may participate in an association trade show. But so anyhow, associations are often organized around professions, around an industry, such as the National Medical Association American Medical Association is an association of doctors throughout the country, and their newsletter, the Journal of the American Medical Association, makes news every time they publish articles on research worldwide. So associations are really groups of people with a like interest. There's over 1.9 million nonprofits within the United States. And to kind of give you some indication, this slide, each second is revealing another association that serves accountants. There's over 256 associations serving accountants alone. And so even if your competitors, if you were trying to market to accountants and your competitors were marketing to 100 of them, and they're not, but even if they were, there's still 156 other associations that you could work with in order to reach accountants and have these associations promote you and your business. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, and really get into some detail, talk about the 5 different ways you can work with associations. But it's just pretty fascinating that this isn't something that really folks talk about, although even right now there's people in Chicago, in LA, in Dallas, in New York City, in Orlando, Florida, that are all going to association trade shows and events to do association marketing, even though nobody's really teaching or talking about it.
And who should be thinking about it?
Well, anybody, especially if you are marketing business to business, there really is no better marketing method than connecting through an association. So, if you're marketing to doctors, then attending one of the medical associations is a great way to be in front of your best target customer. If you're marketing to plumbers, being at the plumber association. If you're marketing to pool and spa contractors, any trade or business has multiple associations that represent it. Most often there are both national associations as well as state associations. Sometimes, depending on the size of the industry, if it's not as large as some others, it's not as large. If there's not as many as, let's say, accountants, there may be an association for Western states or something. So you'll have one association that covers 5 or so states. But even still, business to business are particularly effective. Business to consumer can be effective as well. If you are interested in marketing to people who fly remote control airplanes, there's a couple of associations for those that offer a lot of great benefits that people want to be, if they're at all involved in flying those remote control aircraft, they want to be along in that association, and being able to be part of that organization and go to those meetings and be in those publications is a great way to reach those people when otherwise you wouldn't be able to. So it's a unique way, and I think so many people today are kind of talking about all the different ways to do marketing. And really, very few people are ever talking about including association marketing in that conversation, even though it can be a very powerful way to generate new customers for your business.
Well, it sounds like I mean, there's certainly no scarcity there, which is a wonderful advantage for anybody who's looking at how to target specifically. And you're saying there are about 1.9 million associations in the U.S.?
Absolutely.
Wow.
So you have a lot of great opportunities, and you kind of think about it, it's very similar to kind of the promise or premise of how social media works.
Yes.
Is going where there's kind of folks with a similar interest. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that you've had a lot of great people on previous programs talking about social media. To me, it's never really made sense, especially compared to association marketing. I mean, like social media, especially Twitter, it's kind of like sharing your message, like putting 59 million people into one sports stadium and letting them spread their message by yelling it on a bullhorn. It's they got all this stuff, and you got to try to sift and sort and figure out what's relevant and try to get it heard.
Right. Obviously, we need to be more focused. So we shouldn't be marketing to all of them?
Try to through the right association. The key difference is that with associations, the customers are paying for access. The members are paying to belong.
Right.
So they're paying for the newsletters. They're paying for access to those member sites. They're paying to attend the events. And as far as I can tell, it completely changes the game in terms of how much they participate and engage in those programs, in that media, which is a huge advantage for you if you go this route versus spending your day tweeting.
Sounds like it. Much more productive. Mm-hmm. Now, you have said in some of your information that associations will do the marketing for you. How does that work?
Well, they have all kinds of media, and we're going to go through that in a little bit of detail during this program. But what you can do is connect with a association to provide them a member benefit. And associations, every year, they've kind of ramp up what they're offering their members because one of the things you learn is it really doesn't matter what you did for your member last year. They want to know what you're going to do for them next year before they decide whether or not to renew their dues.
Right.
And so you're constantly on the hunt for what are we going to do to really ramp this up. And you want to partner with an association to provide them with a new member benefit, and then they will tout you and this benefit out to their members as part of the program. And I've got a slide a little bit later. Be happy to kind of dive into that into some detail and make sure everybody really feels comfortable with that topic and answer any questions that come up as we go through it.
Excellent. Sounds great. Okay. Tell us more.
Is this a good time to kind of go through the 5 different ways to
That would be perfect. That's a great way to start because then we can start to fill in some details. So 5 ways to generate customers, just as you were saying. Okay.
Okay. So the 5 ways are join, participate, contribute, affiliate, and partner. So don't worry if you don't all, you'll see these a few times, so if you haven't written them all down, you'll have another chance in just a moment. But join, participate, contribute, affiliate, and partner. With join, you are looking for the correct associations that serve your best target customer. And not all associations are really have the position to be able to partner with you. Some of them may want to, but aren't really effective at marketing themselves, much less other people. So by joining, you're able to identify whether or not these associations are the right fit for you and your business. And also, if nothing else, a lot of associations have directories that you can participate in, and so that you can be in the buyer's guide for the industry association and make sure that your business is included. If your competitors are not there, it's a great opportunity to be somewhere where you can market in a competitive-free environment. If they are there, by golly, you want to make sure you're participating and not left out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Next is participate. It's easy enough. One of the biggest breakthroughs that I see when I work with folks who are marketing through associations is when they actually go and experience the association event. A couple of remarkable things happen when you go and engage. And I'm just talking at this point just as an attendee. Don't worry about exhibiting or sponsoring at the moment. Just go and be there. Interact with the members. Make sure that those people that are attending and walking the halls are really your target customer. Engage them in conversation. When you're sitting in an education room, where they're about to start a seminar, you've got a person to your left and you've got a person to your right, typically, if you position yourself correctly within the room, that you can start a conversation. Hey, where are you from? What kind of business do you have? How long have you been with the company? Start these kinds of dialogues so that you can, get contacts. Next is do some market research. You can, during those conversations and others, what kind of challenges do you face in your business? What are some of where do you spend most of your time during the week or during a day? And these are going to give you great insights into what your customers are dealing with, what they're facing in their business, and really help you position your product or program. And if it's a good fit, then one other thing is go and engage. Be at the bar at night. And I know this is a tough duty for many of us. I could tell you there's no tougher than me. I used to think this was really fun. Now, curfew happens at like 9 o'clock. I have to go past curfew to do this, but it's really an important investment of time because there very well are folks there that you're going to be able to meet, and they might, most often folks are, I guess, less inhibited, and you'll find that you will get different answers at 11 o'clock at night after they've had a couple of cocktails than you will at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And so it's worth going, and if you have to, drink a glass of wine or 2 or 3 while you're there, and engage with folks that are there. Also, while you're there, you may as well establish a relationship with the association staff. Meet them.
Oh, yes.
Because they'll be there. So there's lots of great things that can happen from the number 2, which is participate. Next is contribute. Associations are always looking for new and interesting content. It's their responsibility to be the newspaper, the kind of the Fox News, the content provider for their industry. And so they're always looking for unique and new information that they can publish. If you can be that source, then they're welcome to promote you, to talk about you, and to publish you. A huge example is Manpower. that company publishes their own research on if people are hiring more temps than they were the month before. And kind of the premise of the report is that if people are hiring more temps this month than last month, then that kind of bodes well for employment numbers. And so the press, throughout the country publishes those information, and they also, Manpower is smart enough to drop their number a couple of days before the U.S. Department of Labor's figures. So, everybody's kind of anxious about what's going on, and this is kind of a leading indicator that people can talk about. Are there leading indicators? There's also another company that simply publishes a report. They survey folks on what types of email they're sending, and all kinds of helpful things like 70% of marketers are using HTML emails versus text.
Right.
Now, that doesn't say that text or HTML gets a better response or generates more sales. It just says that more people are using it versus the other. So it doesn't. So don't get tripped up on the details here. Simply doing some research and publishing it can get you lots of exposure and notoriety, and simple articles. But associations are always looking for content. Feel free to contribute. Next is affiliate. Mm-hmm. And this is really where those member benefits that I mentioned a moment ago kind of come in here. What you want to do is offer some sort of program that's for association members only. This way, the association has a benefit, something that they can hold out as a members-only program negotiated by the association for its members. A lot of times it's simply preferred pricing on a particular product. If you've got some sort of lead generation product that you offer, trying to offer that. We can go through a few examples here in a moment. Trying to offer that as a way of letting the association sell that would be a great way to get customers. But in exchange for that endorsement, you'll probably also give the association a little share of the revenue, often 10% or less. So it's not a whole lot, but associations like non-dues revenue programs very often. And we can talk about this a little more if there's some interest. But becoming the endorsed provider really boosts the power of every exhibit, every sponsorship, every article you write, because in addition to showing up and contributing, you have the association actively promoting your product, your offer. And you do want to, these can be a little bit tricky, mostly because associations are usually tax-exempt entities. They are IRS tax-exempt, and so there's a little bit of finagling you need to do with the contract in order to accommodate their needs. But we can talk a little bit about that if there's interest. But otherwise, they can be extremely powerful. And then the fifth way is to partner. And this is very similar to the affiliate, and if you're kind of unfamiliar, but this is something really very few people ever talk about or even understand. But if you can work, what you want to do is work with an association to provide them a benefit or content that's so compelling that the association sees it as a way to generate new members. And it can become a real pivotal member generation tool for the association, and something that they can use that would promote you not just to members but to the entire industry. And so these can be extremely powerful. And just to kind of recap the 5 ways, it's join, participate, contribute, affiliate, and partner.
Just a quick question, Robert. When you speak of joining, I'm sure that the intention is that you're looking for associations that would be in your target market area. Do you find that joining them you need to pay fees to each of the associations to become a member?
Often you do, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes you'll be able to, most of the time you'll be able to identify whether or not they are a prospect, where you have prospects there. Mm-hmm. But often, the association, the membership is kind of the gateway into the program.
Right.
And if most associations aren't going to have a whole lot of time for non-members or interest.
Yes.
And so one of the kind of the neat things about social media, the whole promise is all you got to do is get a user ID and password and you're in. The downside of using social media is all anybody needs is a user ID and a password and they're in.
Right.
Whereas this is a little bit more exclusive because you got to be a little bit invested in order to participate in the association, which elevates the conversation for everybody.
Right. Yes. Yeah, it makes sense. And I think, in my experience anyway, a number of the associations you can at least visit as a guest to get a better sense of whether you want to join. So
certainly
you can screen it that way. So I'm intrigued by the endorsed member benefit program.
Okay.
How would one go about creating something like that?
Sure. Let me see here. So this is a little screenshot from the National Restaurant Association, and so if you own a restaurant, then you'd want to belong to the Restaurant Association, as you may also want to join many of the state associations around the U.S. and Canada. One of the benefits that the National Restaurant Association provides its members is this, Manage My Restaurant Resource Center, which provides all kinds of information about managing restaurants more effectively. And you can see that they've kind of have these categories as marketing and sales, workforce engagement, food, nutrition, and operations. So these are some key little ways that, let me see if I can get so over here is what I'm talking about, where you can see that these are the different big categories that the National Restaurant Association provides training for its members.
Right.
One of the things that this particular article is, it has 5 easy ways to control or 5 ways to ease payroll complexities. Now, if you're a restaurant and your employees are getting tips, there is all sorts of reporting requirements and IRS forms, and if you've ever been a server, you kind of see it from the server side, but from the restaurant side, not only do you have those forms, you got all kinds of penalties that happen if you do those forms wrong. And when you scroll down on this page, you would see that the 5 ways to ease payroll complexity is actually an article provided by Paychex, the payroll processing firm, and one of the ways is to simply delegate it to a company like Paychex. Paychex has an endorsed provider relationship with the National Restaurant Association, and they are the only payroll processing company that the National Restaurant Association promotes. Let me kind of dissect that a little bit for us so that you can kind of see how those programs work. With these endorsed benefit programs, the association is going to provide, making you the official provider of the association, which allows you to use the association name and logo in your marketing. So the association itself will promote you, like we saw, Paychex had that article that's on the National Restaurant Association website. So anytime a restaurant owner that's fed up with this process and looks to this resource for help is going to come on to the Paychex article. The other thing that happens is paychecks themselves can reach out to members of the association directly, and many of which would be impressed with the fact that they are the official provider of the association. Mm-hmm. So you get to use that endorsement not only within the marketing the association does, but also outside of it in the marketing that you send directly to these prospects. The association can also provide access to members. Many times they'll provide you with membership lists, mm-hmm. opportunities to call them, reach out to them via email or phone. They can provide advertising within association magazines, within any buyer's guides or member directories or on their website, provide you with exposure at events, by promoting you and your business, and then also access to meetings, maybe exhibits or sponsorship recognition. All of these types of things are things that the association does provide or can provide as part of this program. What you need to provide is an exclusive offer for the association to promote. It's really important that the integrity of this program is not undermined by somebody going around the association and getting the same discount.
Right.
It's really, one of the things that like there used to be all kinds of rental car discounts or attraction discounts that associations used to provide their members. Well, all that went away 20 years ago when Sam's Club came out with mm-hmm. that. If somebody's already accessing an attraction discount through Sam's Club or Costco, then getting it through their national association doesn't really have a whole lot of value.
Right.
And that's the same way with these programs. Is if you are trying to say that your widget at X price is something worthy for the association to promote, then don't let the association hear from a member that, oh, well, shoot, I was able to buy that directly on their website for cheaper or the same price or what have you. You want to preserve the integrity of that pricing so that the association really does have something unique. Next, revenue sharing with the association. It's often good to provide it. You'll find it's somewhere, I would guess that somewhere about 50% of the associations will say, rather than giving me 10%, why don't you give my members an additional 10% discount? Mm-hmm. Their focus is on making the members benefits that they just absolutely cannot refuse, things that deals that are terrific, and versus the revenue, and that's often the case that the value to the association is really by being able to provide something unique to their members, not in grabbing a share of the revenue. You'll also want to provide the association with excellent marketing support. I don't know how many times I've been pitched with these programs, and I go, okay, well, when we endorse you, then what type of marketing are you going to send out? What do you have that, ads and things that we can use? And they'll send me examples of their marketing, and really it's marketing to the association mm-hmm. that they should endorse the company, not to the association's members of what the product is. They just they're so focused on getting the deal that they don't realize that, okay, once you have this deal, then that just opens the door. We now need marketing for the members to respond to. And so you're going to need to provide the association. The association's too busy. They're not going to be able to create ads. They got to create their own ads for their own events and their own membership. They're not going to be able to create ads for you. Next is great customer service. These programs, if they end prematurely, most often they end because there was some customer service glitch mm-hmm. and it wasn't taken care of the way it needed to. These, as an association executive, there's if you serve accountants in Tennessee there's really only so many accountants that live in Tennessee. And if you endorse providers that systematically irritate those people, you're not going to have very many members for very long. And so you know, as the association, your priority is going to be on protecting that relationship. And I'll take a member's word over a partner every time.
Yeah.
So it's crucial that as a partner you provide great customer service and finally a product that's going to make the association proud of that endorsement.
That makes really good sense. And I have a question from the audience, Robert, that is, I think, appropriate for this time, which is if you could give us some examples of partnering, partnering, and who you would negotiate a partnering agreement with, who in the association.
Okay. One example is Chip Kessler with Extended Care Products. His customers are assisted living facilities and nursing homes.
Right.
And what he did, he provides all kinds of consulting on how they can operate their home more effectively and comply with all the different laws and make sure that they're providing great care. And one of the programs that he created a DVD program that teaches nursing homes and assisted living facilities how to do their marketing, how to build census. You know, census is what they say about the number of customers they have.
Yes.
So that's, you know, whatever they're, you know, so building census is the product. And what Chip did is he partnered with a single state association of nursing home and assisted living facilities. They're the state health care association is what they call themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so he reached out to the association, and the product I think is $495, and he allowed the association to sell the program at a $100 discount. Mm-hmm. So that they could sell it for $395, and he also gave the association $100 of the revenue. So every time the association sold it, they got to keep $100, and Chip got $295. Mm-hmm. So instead of Chip getting $495 on his website, he would get $295 each time an association sold it. And so what this did is every time now this association would have these types of problems, a member would call and go, well, you know, I'm having a problem, you know, maintaining my census. Do you have anything that can help me with that? Then Chip's program, oh, we actually do have a great program, and you're able to get it for $100 off. Here is the link, and you can grab that, and if you need anything else, please let me know. Mm-hmm. So now, today, this was probably 10 years ago when he started this, he now has 26 different state associations who each endorse him. Yes. And promote his product to their members. And so he has a little discount that he gives the members. And what this does for Chip is now all these associations are promoting him and his company whenever they have, you know, members who need the type of services that Chip can provide.
Excellent. How much more lucrative could it be? That's fabulous growth. Very exciting.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So those are the kinds of things. Now, was there a second? I wanted to give you the example. Was there a second half as to who to contact?
Well, yeah, and I think that you're leading into that, so that's perfect. We'll just learn a little bit more about how to go about it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of the key things that I kind of see that it's actually kind of a mistake is over and over again, people contact me and are going, Robert, I've got this great way for the association to make some money. You know, how would you like to make some non-dues revenue for your association? Mm. And I can, you know, while I like revenue, I mean, it's kind of like going up to a potential mate and saying, how would you like to get married? I would be a great spouse. You may very well be a great spouse, but if they're not ready to have that discussion, all it does is really turn their stomach that you would even consider talking about that. They have to be ready.
Yes.
And so that's why it is so important that you join, you identify if the association is right for you. You participate by going, meet the staff, see who's there, make sure that these folks that are there are your best customers. Now, the whole time you're doing this, you're generating customers. So it's not as if you have to wait till step 4 before you make any money. You join, you get in the directory, you generate customers, you participate, you go to the meetings, you talk with folks, you tell them what you do or what the problems you solve. You get customers. If you don't get customers, then you stop participating and you go participate somewhere else. So this isn't something you've got to wait till step 4 until you get any results. You get results with each and every step, and I can tell you many people do very well just by doing 1 or 2 of these and never bothering with the other. Now, I'm not going to sell many books talking about only showing up to association meetings. Everybody wants to know how to get member benefit programs, and certainly the book talks about that. But you can do very well for a long time simply by participating and being engaged in those programs, making sure you're generating customers, and then as you see that there's some return on investment there, moving on to the next step, because at the same time you are participating, you are also building relationship with the association so that they trust you and that they're ready to move to the next level when you are.
Do you recommend, for example, beginning with a small part of the organization, so maybe a local chapter, before stretching out beyond that?
Definitely. One of the real keys that I often that I go through in some detail. I've got this whole association partnership and profit system course that it's I don't know 15 hours of really detailed training on this, and one of the things that we go through in some detail about researching associations is really diving down into the smaller subspecialties, sub-associations, like you call chapters. For instance, if you're marketing to doctors are one of the most difficult markets because they don't check their mail, they really don't check their email, someone else sets their calendar, someone else answers their phone. It's a challenge to reach them. And associations actually provide a pretty useful way to reach to doctors, because what generally lands on the doctor's desk but the materials that they paid for from the associations they participate in. So, of course, there's the American Medical Association, and that event, I think, has around 50,000 doctors that attend and a couple thousand exhibitors. It's a monstrous event, and you could exhibit there, but it's extremely expensive. You've got the biggest of the biggest pharmaceutical companies, the medical equipment device people. You're competing. I mean, it's like no better than Twitter, because you're competing with all those huge companies to get access. If you instead then look at maybe the California Medical Association, that is probably maybe 10% the size of the big AMA, and so now it's going to be a lot more affordable. One, because maybe you already live in California and getting to the event is going to be less expensive than trucking across the country to the national event. And the prices are going to be smaller, and just because there's fewer docs doesn't necessarily hurt you because you'll probably go home with 50 or 100 business cards at the big event as well as you do the first event. The only good thing is at the smaller event you're sorting through fewer people to get to the prospects for yourself.
Right.
The next level would be if you then went to maybe the California Society of Dermatology. So if you figure out that your best customer isn't just any general doctor, but maybe a dermatologist, well, that association probably is drawing 150 doctors to its event, and it's much more economical, and chances are you're probably walking out of there with almost every doctor who was there knowing who you were, and with follow-up opportunities with many of them. So the smaller, so whether you're talking with accountants or you're talking to attorneys, a lot of these smaller specialty or associations can be a much better platform than trying to go with the big national big guys.
That makes very good sense. Robert, this seems like there are so many opportunities. Why aren't more people successful in it?
I think that it's really because it doesn't come to their awareness. There's so much out there today about social media, about direct mail, about Facebook ads, about all this other stuff, and this opportunity is right in front of everybody's nose, but nobody's really pursuing it. And I started partnering. One of the things that happened with me is I was working with associations back in 1998 when Ask Jeeves came out. And you had Ask Jeeves and Yahoo, these whole search engine things. Google was just on the horizon at that time. And here, people, instead of members calling my office to get information and get resources, they were able to put in a question and click enter and get all kinds of resources on the web. It kind of shook the definition of what an association was and really the foundation of our benefits.
Right.
And so I started partnering with companies and experts and speakers and authors to create unique benefits for the associations that I was working with. And it really wasn't until just a couple of years ago that it even occurred to me that, well, probably be a lot easier for me to find these experts if I had a course and a book and a program that taught them how to do this. Because trying to educate these folks one at a time is a very laborious process. So that's kind of the impetus for this effort, and really it's to get the word out that this is a great opportunity, that there's 1.9 million nonprofits that you can partner with that can help you get your message heard and help you reach your target customer.
Wonderful. So can you give us a little step-by-step approach so that we could tackle it?
Yeah, I think one of the key things is the first step is one of the things I think when I see is that they need to make sure that they have a profile of your best customer.
Right.
So who exactly are you trying to reach? And is there a profession, an occupation, an interest? What are you willing to invest to obtain one of your best customers? And then identify which associations do your best customers belong to and attend meetings of. Those are really some of the key steps, and a lot of this can be done online. I mean, associations have pretty extensive websites typically, and so you're going to be able to identify. Also, one of the little tricks that I teach people how to do is, instead of you chasing the association, how to get the association to chase you by having a phone call with them and find, one, it gives you a lot of great information. You can go, what are some of the trends that you see that going on in your industry? And hey, these are my target customers, XYZ, and these are the problems that I solve for them. Do you see that you have those types of people in your association, and do you think they would, the members of your association would be open to this solution? Now, these association staff, they want you to come to their meetings. They want you to be at their events, and so they're going to do a little bit of sales pitch to try to get you there. And now all of a sudden they're chasing you rather than you having to chase them. And it completely transforms the relationship.
Absolutely. Then you're in demand. That makes very good sense. And they're always looking for fresh content and fresh faces. Very good point.
Right.
Anything else that you can give us for some ideas? And is there resources where we can get more information?
Yeah. I wanted to. I'm happy to give a few more examples.
Oh, perfect.
Here, probate's not something that a lot of people think of, but this gentleman, he reached out to a state law bar, a state bar association, so associations that deal with estate planning issues for attorneys. And he only reached out to the bar associations in and around Southern California, attending their events, speaking when he was invited to speak. He joined them all. He showed up, and by building a relationship, now he is the go-to guy anytime those folks have one of their clients who need the propate liquidity programs. Another example, this is a great one. Can you imagine living in Detroit and having as your customers auto manufacturer suppliers when Ford, or excuse me, not Ford, but Chrysler and General Motors are declaring bankruptcy?
That would be a challenge.
All those companies are scattering, scurrying around. You think they're buying much? No, they don't know that they're going to be able to pay their payroll because they're not sure they're going to get paid from the manufacturers. So what Beverly Wall's company does is do translation services. So anybody who is trying to take their product international, she has people who will translate all your marketing material and do all the graphic design, everything that touches the marketing, the language. Right. And so now all of a sudden these companies need to diversify to find other manufacturers around the world who would want their products. Beverly engaged in the associations and participated, and actually her competitors didn't. She doesn't know why, but nonetheless, she was there, able to provide services, and really became a problem solver for companies who were looking to take their company international, and she helped facilitate all the language details.
Wow.
In terms of resources, probably the best place to start is at yourassociationshortcut.com. There is another training video that's free. You can watch. There's no opt-in or anything. You can also get a free copy of my book, Your Association Shortcut, and you just kind of scroll up a little bit and then you can get a copy of that by registering there. What happens is you put in your name and email address there, and then on the next page put in all your shipping details. All I ask, if you would, reimburse me for postage to send the book out to you, and it's on its way to you. The form at yourassociationshortcut.com takes care of everything, and direct pay is a huge tool there.
Yes, wonderful. No, I can see how it all fits together, and I've put the the URL into the chat box so people can actually just, who are on the call, can actually click on it right away and go directly to it. And for those people who are listening and not able to see it, it is yourassociationshortcut.com, and then they can just follow the prompts there. Excellent, Robert. I just want to open it up again for any questions that people may have and just see if there's anything further. Make sure that I haven't missed any along the way. Now, it is an interesting question that it was another gentleman named Robert who asked the question about who you actually negotiate with in the association to get those partnership agreements.
It depends a lot on size of the association, but if you're working with a association, kind of like what we were talking about, where it's the California Society of Dermatology, then you're going to be engaged with the executive director of the association. That's something that that person is going to be responsible, and you'll be dealing with them directly. And that's one of the reasons why, one of the hidden benefits of working with smaller associations at first is it allows you to deal with kind of the decision maker, the implementer, the doer all at one time, rather than having to deal with multiple levels of bureaucracy. And then you come away with some success, and now, because the associations all talk to each other, so once you have a good relationship working with one, they're going to go to a meeting and brag to all their association buddies about what they created, and now you'll have 2 or 3 others that are calling you looking for it. So it becomes, like the Chip Kessler thing. You got the one, and then most of the others came calling, and and that's the position that we want to try to put you in, so that rather than you having to chase and negotiate and identify and run up and down the ladder, let the success work for you.
Excellent idea. They all speak to each other. They're all members, and that's how the communication flows. That's absolutely true. One association is not going to want not to have something, and another one does. Excellent idea.
If you can imagine such a thing, there's actually associations of associations.
Yes. Yeah.
And one of the biggest is the American Society of Association Executives, and they actually have a pretty good directory of associations where you can help you find associations for your particular niche.
Interesting. Okay. Now, if people have questions that they haven't brought up here, but they think of it afterwards, how do they get in touch with you? What's the best way?
You can email me at rs@yourassociationshortcut.com.
Okay. I'm just putting that into the chat box as well, so that they have that. Your association. Perfect. Okay.
And also, if you get the book, then you'll get an email from me, and all you have to do is reply to that. So that's easy too.
Well, this sounds like an incredibly lucrative marketing idea that certainly in the last few years of me being involved with direct pay have not heard supported or promoted, and it's brilliant. It just really does open incredible doors for people. So I thank you so very much for the information that you've provided today. Any final words that you'd like to provide for the direct pay members?
I'm happy to be part of direct pay and be part of the membership here, and give back. The folks are doing association marketing right now. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it, because it's working, and it's a fun way to market. A lot more rewarding than sending out 1,000 direct mail pieces and hoping that 10 or 12 people respond.
Yes. Well, and we had someone who said, thank you, Robert, that they loved the presentation. It was content heavy, which we, those of us who are on these always love to hear. It's like, get to the point. Yay! we got really good information from it. So
awesome.
Thank you. Some great points from me, and certainly some places for me to start considering where I could take this into action immediately. So thank you very, very much, Robert. And thank you to everyone who has attended today. We are wrapping up kind of our beginning of the year season for Business Mastery, and we will be beginning again in August. So the month of July is a month off. If you've been attending regularly, there will be a new roster of wonderful presenters, and Robert, you are one of them, into the new season as well. So I'm sure we'll be looking forward to hearing from you again.
We'll have to get into more details and really peel back the cover some more.
That would be excellent, and it would be interesting to hear from some of the people who have attended today what they were able to do with what successes they have had in contact with you and contact with the associations that they are related to. So look forward to that. So have a wonderful the rest of your day, everyone, and we look forward to speaking with you the next time we have a Business Mastery webinar. Thank you, Robert.